Would you be surprised to know that some of the most successful women of our time face challenges just like you and I do?
Hi, I'm Amber.
And I'm Lisa. We're authors of the book Leading Ladies. Discover your God-grown strategy for success.
We invite you to join us in an honest, messy bun conversation about the things we'd rather keep hidden in our lives.
Some of those things can keep us from moving forward in purpose.
So grab a cup of something delicious, kick off your shoes, and hang out with us for the next 30 minutes.
Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to another Coffee Chat with Amber and Lisa, and we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
Mrs. Santa Claus herself, Nancy Bogart. We just love her. She is the CEO and founder of Jordan Essentials Healthy Skincare. We are excited to have you guys all here. And Elisa, you were struggling with getting all the decorations up this year.
I am. I'm going to be honest, and most people who know me know that Christmas is my thing. It's been a little eventful for me, health-wise lately. I am on the struggle bus. So right now, all of my fall decor is down. And excuse me, as I just pour myself a cup of Rudolph coffee. There we go.
What kind of coffee in your Rudolph coffee?
This is Starbucks Christmas blend.
Ooh.
It's one of the few I like from Starbucks. Every year we got to get ourselves some Starbucks Christmas blend.
Yeah. How are you, Nancy, with Christmas out at your house?
Over Thanksgiving, my family had COVID. And so we all laid around for a week. And when we got up, I said, let's go. And we put up the tree and decorated and got rid of a bunch of stuff. I said, if we don't put it out this year, it's out. So I'm feeling empowered, large, and in charge. We're healthy.
Hey, this is exciting. Each year we do a theme for our Christmas tree. And this year I have a special theme that is gnomes.
Ah, fun.
Gnomes,
They're
Christmas
so
gnomes.
cute.
The one thing I special ordered some Christmas gnomes, and literally they are lost in New York. These Christmas gnomes. Yeah.
They could do a movie, right?
Those gnomes cause a little
Yeah.
trouble wherever they go.
I like it.
They're lost in Jamaica, New York, so maybe they're just confused.
Yeah. It's so similar to Springfield, Missouri. So cool.
So
Right.
we have special gifts today, and I just want to make sure that we get that covered before we have a present for you today. Lisa, why don't you tell them a little bit about what they need to do, and then we're going to have the big reveal of the present before we get into our interview today.
And we'll actually put this in the comment section in just a minute once we get started with our interview with Nancy. In order to win our wonderful prize, and everybody likes a prize, right? Today's special prize. In order to win a prize, you need to like our Leading Ladies Live Facebook page. That's number one. Number two, you need to comment here on this live, or if you listen later on in the rewatch, that's fine. Comment. And then we also want you to join our Leading Ladies mailing list on our website if you haven't already. So that's the third thing.
All three.
Do. We're going to post the winner on Monday. And then we're going to send it to you.
Yes. Nancy, our gift sponsor, why don't you show people what they win?
I would love to, Vanna. So every month we do the subscription box, and this is the December box. And I just thought it was going to be perfect. And I know we're talking about gifts today. So I love this little box. And so inside this box has 5 little gifts. And this is called our Joyful Jordan box. You can buy one box or get the subscription. So when you do those 3 things, then you will get the box. So the box comes with a card and how to use the things inside. So the first thing you get is a bath bomb. It's a sugar plum bath bomb. Our products are non-toxic, clean ingredients. You can read all about them. And then, so it has a great bath bomb. You drop into your bath, and it also has magnesium in it, which is good for your muscles. A lip butter. And of course, our products don't have dyes and colors in them. So they're just yummy and healthy for you. So it's your calorie-free treat for the season with cherry. I put one every morning, every night. And then you have a little eye collagen eye gels. These are called
yes,
under your eyes to add a little collagen and plump. You
That
get a
sounds
$5
wonderful.
gift certificate
$5 gift certificate.
to use back with your
Yay.
Geordie. And I know you guys are repping JE too. So, and then you get the Snow Place. I can smell it right now. So the Snow Place Like Home, it comes as a little kit.
Ooh.
And it's a reed diffuser with juniper. These are pure essential oils, juniper, peppermint, and rosemary. And those are supposed to be good, grounding, healthy, happy essential oils. And you just flip the reeds and your room smells great. These will last
That's
you
awesome.
all winter. Then you can cap it back and then open it again next winter. I have people who use these for a long time.
Oh, wow. And you know what the funny thing is, Nancy, you hear a lot about candles now. It's okay. There can be a lot of toxic things in candles.
Yep.
Who cannot have the smell of Christmas in their home? Lisa is the queen of Christmas smells. She really is.
Yeah.
I
Here,
am.
smell this, Lisa. Smell this.
Wow. I'm going to
Yes.
need some of that. I'm going to need some of that. Put it on
Yeah.
my
I tell people it smells like you're walking in the forest. The ground is covered in snow. The juniper trees are out and you're eating a candy cane.
Ooh, that's right. That sounds like right up Lisa's green winter walk smells. She loves that.
Yeah, and I'm an aromatherapist, so I blended that custom for everybody to feel grounded, happy, and joyful in our Joyful Jordan box this holiday season. I do all of our blends, and I'm working with my middle son now as our new formulator and blender, and we'll put him through aromatherapy class, and we'll see how he does. So, yeah, that's our gift giveaway today.
I
Right?
love
5 gifts in one.
Gift of lovely smells. I know that I think that's the whole thing about Christmas, that blend of light and smell and music and all those things that we have to stop to take in. And really, the gift of the Christmas season to me is really just taking in all the senses of Christmas. And sometimes it's really hard to do that when you're like stuck in the mall with screaming kids and
Right.
But at the same time, we forget how fun it is. That it can really just bring out the child in you and the sense of togetherness. And we wanted to talk about the gift of your journey and what you do, because this is what you do. You give people that connection. You give people that grounding of, you need to consider what it is to live a healthy life.
Right.
And tell me how you got started on your journey, because your journey is in food science.
Yes, it wasn't mixing up essential oils for sure. No, it was more like blending and making a souffle as opposed to a synergy for an essential oil blend. Yeah, so my kids were little and it was the holiday season. Truly, we were right. I remember having an end of summer conversation. The boys were 1, 3, and 5. And Ron's, you really should think about, we need another income. He said, get a job. I don't remember that part. And I thought if I could make enough money for Christmas and the holiday season, that's really where it felt like the burden was coming in. Alex was starting to go to school. And then the school came and the school clothes and the backpacks and the school supplies. And I think that's really what started to compound it. And I loved being at home. So I wanted to find something that would take whatever I did an inventory, what had God given me, what were my skills and talents? And I had done catering, but you can't do the hours and the food and all that kind of stuff with little kids. Mm-hmm. My sister had actually become very ill and she was in the hospital and she's fine, but she was there for almost a month. So I could get a babysitter and then go up and see her. Then I went to Barnes and Noble, couldn't afford the books. I'm thinking desperately, I got to think of something. And I read books about pioneer women and how they made recipes, because that's where I was headed, for bath and body products. Because I thought, they would have to moisturize their hands. They would have to clean things. And I'm like, I could be really good at this. And so that's when I invented our lotion bar. It's a solid bar of lotion using some of those formulas. And this is our sugar plum for the holiday season. So it's just a solid bar of lotion. You can use it 52 different ways. And I went to Kickapoo High School here in Springfield. I know not everybody's watching
Kickapoo, VHS.
Kickapoo High School. So then I sold out the first day. And then I did Nixa Junior High School and I made $7,000. And Ron's, maybe we have something here. I'm like, you think? It was really out of necessity. I wanted to take whatever I inventory, what skills I had that God had given me. My desire to still be with my children and raise my kids. And for me, I wanted to work, was fine with that. I love working. I just didn't want to give up the things I wanted to give up because I I ended up working a lot more than 40 hours a week, but I love it. But God gave me the inspiration, invented the lotion bar. We've hand poured. I don't hand pour them all, but we've always employed, we stay-at-home moms. And then we ramped up over the 23 years. Obviously, we have a nice manufacturing facility, but they're still all blended and the oils blended. And then we have these little pouring things and goes out and they cure and everyone's just poured with love. So over 5 million bars in the 23 years. I know, right? From just me and my mom pouring them in my kitchen to today. And then there were other women who said, hey, I want to do the same thing. That's why we decided to become a direct sales company. So if you're watching today, you don't see in a store, you're like, where are these? And people didn't buy online back then. We decided to help other stay-at-home moms, working women do the same thing. So that's really that's the beginning. And now there's all kinds of flavors and men's and women's and military appreciation lotion bars.
Okay, I got pet spritz for my dog.
Yes, the pet spritz.
I got pet spritz.
Before we go into the deep motivation of all of this and what God has done in so many lives, tell us just so we understand. Yes, you say you started in the kitchen with lotion bars. You sold
$7,000.
Made $7,000 at Kickapoo High School. But I want to know, where is the company at today? Give me some stats.
Let's see. We're in all 50 states, Guam, Puerto Rico, and St. Thomas.
Wow.
We own a beautiful building manufacturing facility, and literally we have had over 40,000 individuals sign up to sell our products in 23 years. So 40,000 is pretty cool. And we have 150 products in our product line today. We were listed as one of the 5 fastest growing companies in the state of Missouri, and our products have been award winning. They've been in newspapers, magazines, and then this last year, our best years have been like in our last 4 years. And then people are always like, how come I haven't heard of you? I raised my family. 2007 and 8, I don't think people realize how tough that was. Businesses, banks, foreclosures. That was when Ron decided to get another job and I took over. So I'm running the company, raising my kids and that balance. And so I'm pretty proud of the fact that I have 4 amazing humans. And then about 4 years ago, they all graduated and the pandemic, and I started running the business a little bit more. So we're now the economies helps a lot with internet sales. Yeah, we were listed and I was featured as one of the growth companies on one of our industries and a lot of awards. And I'm on a board for one of our industry accounts for a party plan company. That's one of the few that's growing and thriving in our economy today because of our type of products and how we still take our products to market, but still honoring that relationship. And where I used to have stay-at-home moms make it, I still have some moms come in, but we employ people with disabilities now because my daughter's one of them. And I thought, man, it's hard for her to find a job. And then hired her and then some of her friends from Bear Power and then some more. And we were going to send stuff off to a workshop. I'm like, why don't we make a workshop here? I'd rather have people here. And I realized when she had a tough time getting a job, people got weird. And I'm like, this should be like everybody's city and town. We're not going to send somebody to a workshop. We're going to integrate. And so we have an adaptive workplace now. It's one of the things I'm most proud of is that our workplace, when you make our lotion bar, somebody might have poured it, somebody might have put it in the tin, somebody else might have put the label on, somebody else shrink wraps it, that they work together in unison to create your products. And that we also supply jobs. About 25% of our workforce is an adaptive workforce. I call it adaptive work. I make up my words as I go.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And that's something that's always been very close to my heart because it is really a struggle with people with disabilities actually finding work and feeling like they have a gift to give their community. A lot of them say, I feel like that they were made to fail. And I love that about you because all of us have gifts that we need to give. A lot of us need help finding those, but some of them need special care to be able to operate. And that's just such a hard thing. We've had a lot of most of my daughters have been through situations with being on autism spectrum that they need that extra care going into the workplace. Thank you for being that. And thank you for talking about that because that's a great gift we can give not only to the people with disabilities, but for the people who care for them, people who love those people. Because we know, and God knows that they have a special plan and purpose, and we need to empower that. So thank you for doing that for so many, Nancy.
And the other part of it, though, the other half of that is the benefit for the employer. So I've talked to a lot of groups and chambers and things like that. It's not charity, because then you have somebody who's long-term. Whenever the Oats bus shows up, whether it's snowing, raining, or whatever. So our team shows up. We have people who are dedicated, hard work. Our core values of being optimistic, team player, diligent, driven, and a learner, those 5 core values for Jordan Essentials, our team members hit those heavy and hard. So when you're hiring people, you're trying to find people who are going to work long term, it's a perfect matchup. So what if I need to put a grid on a tabletop, or they need to have a space that isn't quite as noisy, or we have to do this here and there? The longevity and working with the system in which they have to, or they can only have so many hours that they work, or they need to have a stool. What do I care? We're getting the work done, and we've got a really diverse, amazing workforce. I tell people, I said, don't overlook somebody who may not interview well, but you also don't want to put people into stress and not hire the right person. But there's a huge advantage if you're looking for people who are going to work a long time, who are going to stay with you, that are diligent, driven, hardworking team members that are optimistic. You can interview inside that workforce. No, not every person with Anya's intellectual disabilities is going to have the same personality, but don't dismiss the entire workforce based on the fact that you don't want to hire somebody with a intellectual disability, physical disability, because you're missing out on a treasure of people who are going to come and work a long term. And it sure makes our workforce a lot more lively. And people always say, I just love working there. It's just such a unique thing for us. So anyway, it's a gift that gives both sides.
Yes.
That I think is awesome. And when I hire people to come in, like we just hired a new director of operations, he's awesome. He's worked there about 6 months now. And he goes, I get choked up thinking about what we get to do here. So when you get the vision of it, it's really cool. It's different. It's not, I didn't plan that in the beginning, but when I saw Anya struggling, we became not just someplace that the boss is going to hire her kid. I just saw a great opportunity for her and for others.
But that is such an amazing gift to you as a mom, and also to your daughter and to so many others. When we talk to women about leadership and their ability to influence, women say things like, I don't have any major gifts, or I don't have the ability to start a company. That's not who I am. But we have the ability to influence right where we are, the people closest to us based on the needs they have. It's just a matter of being willing to step in to being part of the solution. And you have chosen to do that with your company. I want to know a little bit about your relationship with God, the one who ultimately gave you these ideas and all the tools that you need. You've gone through a lot of change since cooking up lotion bars in the kitchen to today and your role. It has taken years to get you there, which has probably been helpful. You got to learn a little along the way with all the new things, but it's been a journey for you. Talk to me about your relationship with God and how that has strengthened you and helped you get through all of these stages and changes.
One of the things I find really interesting is I need people to know I did not grow up in church. I was not a Christian. I didn't go through all this and then end up going to a Christian college. And then all of a sudden, God, then this is your next phase. And I want you to be at home with your children. Is absolutely not my journey. I grew up in a great household, and I went to a women's college and graduated Gokati College, met my husband in the parlor there, got married way too young, went through a lot of struggles where we almost killed each other. So married at 20, had horrible miscarriage and depression, deep depression, about a year that probably could have used some help. And Ron and I were not doing well. And I somehow, some way deep in my soul, I said, there is a God and I want to have a kid. And if you'll help me out there, I will figure out who you are. And then weird little thing. And of course, I didn't know about Hannah and that whole story at the time. And I just was so desperate. And in that hour, instead of going left, I went right. And I had gotten pregnant with Alex. Then he had a birth defect in his left eye. I'm like, that's awesome. That's not real perfect. So then because I thought I would just go back to work. Didn't go back to work. And he needed all this occlusion therapy. We didn't have a insurance, or it's a $90,000 surgery. We're trying to work through all that. And when your darkest time and you don't know who God is and you weren't raised that way, when he shows up, that's where it's like this coolest miracle now that I look back on it. So I'm 25 years old and I see this ad in a newspaper for a softball team for men at a church thing. because I didn't want to walk into one of those weirdo churches. I still don't want to walk into one of those weirdo churches. And I'm kind of that girl.
Wait a minute.
Know what weirdo churches are.
There's some weirdo churches out there. So I'm gonna to each their own. So I just, because I didn't grow up that way, I just didn't want to go someplace. So I walked in the back door and a beautiful woman grabbed me and asked me if I knew about mops. Mothers of preschoolers, and I had this screaming kid. Alex never slept. So I dropped this kid off at mops, and of course my natural born leadership skills came out. And I honestly, in that time frame, from the women's college and my leadership in the restaurant industry to taking a little break with Alex, then going into a MOPS program and leading me to Christ through my needs, MOPS and softball for Ron, because Ron did grow up in church for a while. Then showing up there, when I started my business, all my MOPS moms wanted to be my first consultants and really support what we did. I wouldn't be here today if it hadn't been for my tiny little countryside church and the MOPS program. Yeah. So my journey with Christ has been very different. It was a very adult relationship. I learned about David and Goliath with Alex. I learned about the Bible with my son as he went through Bible school. I didn't know anything more about Christmas than Christmas trees. I knew enough. My parents went, like, we might be in a community, we might see a program or something like that. I know that they had gone to church off and on, but as an adult, I wasn't there. So then I started this crazy business. But it was definitely because I was a very new young Christian, probably about 5 years as a Christian. So Alex was 5 years old. We became Christians right after he was born. So right there in that pocket. And I'm like, hey, the cry of my heart is I want to be with my kids. And he's, let me show you this really weird way. And so I've had some of these interesting provisional moments. I never knew how hard it was going to be, especially 2007, 2008, with all the stock market crash, all the businesses going out, the funding, we're in credit card debt, and the pandemic ate nothing on that. If anybody ever owned a business through that time frame, and Ron says, God's called you to this, and he's called me to feed my family. He said, I'm out. I'm going to go get a job. You're going to keep running the company. So what he did during that next season of our lives, it's so fun when you look back, but it's so crappy when you're in it. So he's showing us in that time to show women how to lead, that I could do this. I didn't think I could do it. Ron just went and he did what he had to do. But I'm like, what did you do about a business license and hiring and HR? I was leaning on it pretty heavily the first 6-7 years of our business. So now it's been like 15 years, but I had to become the person, and it's almost Moses had to become a public speaker, or you have to go do these things that you're not equipped for. And so I couldn't say it was Ron anymore. I had a lot of prayer, he filled in a lot of gaps, and I had a lot of faith walks and I had a lot of failures in there I got to learn from too. But to have those moments, it just strengthens your faith, because you could have easily said, oh, the company was successful because of Ron. It's easy to say, it couldn't have been Nancy. I know a lot of people want to say it's me, but I didn't have that kind of experience. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, and trying to come into this and not having that kind of business experience. And the idea just come, and then they're there, and I'm a good listener, and all my strengths and skills that balance up. It is miraculous.
Yeah. And I also want to interject this, because I know Nancy shared this with me. She has adult ADHD.
I do. And I'm like,
I do. And she runs a successful business. So it is. I wanted to ask you, what are the things you have in place that help you overcome what you know is hard for you with adult ADHD?
Yeah, it's really hard, because at the end of the day, the next morning I'll wake up, I'm like, did I put away the leftovers off the stove? But Ron has quietly come in and he did that. Because as the kids got older, it's funny because my kids' personalities are all different, trying to remember directions to things. And Alex would be like, we're there. This is where we park. Surrounding myself with the right people, or leaning into, instead of seeing it as a disability, I trade my energy for something else. Everybody who tells me, take some downtime, I really don't know what that is. And it is against my nature. And I do have people who they can't go the same rate of rattle. The H is there for a reason in the hyperactivity. And so then we adopt Anya, and she's got the same thing. She's a little different. And the facilitator goes, look, it's fine. She's going to be like her new mama. It's going to be okay. Ron, you get people who understand what that is. And the nice thing about having a company is I can hire One of the people I enjoy working with the most in the world is Marion Smith. And I know Amber has met her.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she is phenomenal. She's my right, and she's the most detail-oriented person. I will come in with this fabulous idea, and she and my oldest son, Alex, who he works under her, and they're in the same department, they're already logistically figuring out how to work this stuff out. Because I'll miss some of the skipping stones, or I can't see the potholes because I'm already moving ahead. But I don't know. I would change the term ADHD because I've got something that takes you to this next piece that other people can't see. So in the visionary leadership role, there's a reason I can't see some of these things. And it used to be such a detriment sitting in class. So if you're listening to this and you weren't that person that can't sit there, your attention moves on. I used to tell people in special ed with Anya, you talk too slow to her. Stop talking down, speed up. Anya does not need you to go that slow. Move it along and big picture, and then you can go back and fill the details she needs to, but her learning style was different. And I think I've learned that my learning style is different. I just recently told a new team member, I understand this is your learning style, but here's mine. Here's how we run this. And I'm not going anywhere. So we're going to have to adapt to what I really need. I just want to let you know really clearly, we're a multi-million-dollar successful company. And it's a little bit different, but this is how I roll. And so that's, and of course, I believe that our essential oils and some of the personal practices I have, my prayer life might be on an exercise bike or a bouncy ball, or it might be especially driving. If I could do something that my distraction focused on something else, like when we were all sick, I'm like, I just got to go for a drive. I won't get anybody else sick in my car, but I got to roll down the windows and roll. So I think I always say with people, we have an adaptive workplace and we work with special abilities. I don't think of the word dis. I don't love that, disability or condition. What's your condition? I meet a lot of people that are just not nice. What do we call them?
You have superpowers.
Yeah, you have superpowers.
Yeah, most people cannot run as fast as my brain RPMs roll, and I feel bad for them, but we got to keep going.
That's just like Lisa and I with all of my things where Lisa has noticed those issues that I have where, okay, I'm going to help in here. And just coming up in the support areas, that is so essential as we are a gift to each other.
Yeah.
We operate with our strengths and our abilities. And we also have to realize some things we're not so strong in. And are we going to be okay with that? Are we going to be okay with our not so strong areas and realize it's a gift so other people can come alongside us? And
I know God doesn't make us the same, right?
No,
if it did, that would be a problem. Alex and Marion really balance me out so well. The two of them can figure out a way to take whatever that idea that I have. And sometimes they'll say, this seemed good on paper, but this isn't going to work, or this is where we got to go. And I respect that too.
It's that illustration of the scripture when it talks about the body with all the different parts and members and how it works together. I think we hear that scripture and we think, oh yeah, everybody's got their own little thing they're good at, but it is so much more diverse than that. It has to do with our culture and our upbringing and what are our superpowers. And I like to look at people's strengths rather than their weaknesses, because their strengths are what God is going to use, right?
Yeah.
He's going to use that a lot more effectively, I think, than we realize when we look through and all we see are maybe weaknesses.
I love this. On our thread, Nancy Williams, she said, ADHD is not a negative diagnosis. It is the different learning style the schools and society needs to embrace. They accomplish using their gifts in their way. I wish we could normalize different. Isn't bad, just different.
Exactly. I think some of the most brilliant people I know just run at a higher RPM. Everybody else needs to keep up.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it is brilliance on caffeine.
Hey, once again, superpowers.
I got everybody in our office lift desks. So I know one of my kids in a meeting, like it's really hard to stay focused without, it's too long. And so I said, we're going to normalize standing up in a meeting. We're going to normalize moving around. We're going to normalize being at a lift desk. We're going to normalize tapping your foot. We're going to just whatever you got to do, because the brilliance, you want to have them in the room, and textures and fabrics and ties and all that stuff. But Anya really opened our world to that. I didn't realize about the ADHD until I had Anya and was working with her. What I had made a lot more sense and helped me with my focus. I don't try to do things that I don't want or can't do and stop forcing. The book Strengths Finder by Donald Clifton
I love it.
opening my world. It has 34 themes of strength, and he's lean into them. I had to quit making myself into a little CEO with a little pencil suit and all this stuff and do these things and have these meetings in a certain way. I'm like, what? First of all, I can't get fired. And if this doesn't happen, then God will do something else. I'm just not going to keep trying so hard to be somebody I'm not. And after 23 years, I think everybody who works for us and all of our consultants, I think they want us to keep going and want to count their paychecks. So they embrace my idiosyncrasies and I embrace theirs. And so off we go. The gifts that they have, I think I'm really good at seeing people's gifts. It is always heartbreaking to me when it doesn't always match up, but sometimes I just celebrate where they're going to go on their next journey. And we just roll on with it. And this is where you are part of the community that God has planned for you. And then you're a respecter of persons. And we don't judge other people's journeys. That was hard for me. It drove me nuts how they would talk to Anya. You don't know her. And immediately she looks young or she talks a certain way and they start talking to her. So I wanted to normalize, communicate. Or because I was a woman, I had men who wouldn't talk to me, deals we couldn't cut because we're from the Midwest or whatever. I'm done with, I hate stereotypes. I hate labels. And I know God doesn't have a single one. I know he doesn't have a one. And I know he's no respecter of persons. He has his love for us and our love for him. And we love other people. Then we let him own those relationships that are different than ours. And then we can have this really joyful, optimistic, fun community of people, no matter where they're at in their lives. Before I was 25 years old, I was a very different person than I was. I was combative with Ron, combative with everybody. I was the sassy elf. I wasn't sleeping. Alex never slept. And I was trying to figure my way out. And when I see young people who do that today, and I'm a lot more sympathetic to it, but people at that time probably would have judged me in a different way. And they did, or they were unkind or whatever it was. But I think if we always say, give the other person the best explanation of their behavior to be Christ-like and loving in those situations. I think that's the real gift this season. Give them the best explanation of their behavior if you see somebody who is having a rough time, and if they can't, then hurt people, unhappy people are unhappy. You don't have to invite them over to dinner unless they're like your family. And at that point, maybe they need a little extra love. But my philosophy is to continue to have that as much love as I could possibly pour out. It continuously gets filled. I would never admit if it ceases to amaze me. You've just got more.
Yeah.
And anytime I ever have a situation where I'm like caught off guard or I'm feeling offended, because I do definitely think the devil uses offense to divide all of our society.
Definitely.
If I feel offended, that is where I really try to get and check in with myself and go, wait a minute, this is probably not about me.
Yeah.
I am an adult. I am a solid Christian. I am going to turn that around. And sympathy is one of my favorite things to go, I have sympathy or empathy for this person.
Right.
And whether or not I can do something for them. This is why I love my company. Is I have had the opportunity to work with thousands and thousands and thousands of women and some good men, and wherever little bit or big part that they played in our company as they come into the company and they see those core values and they learn some good things and then use some great products and they're part of a good community, even if they maybe don't have anything good in their life at that moment, that we can at least do that.
Right.
You know what? I know we're running down on time, but it's okay because I could just talk with you for the next hour.
We have sometimes, haven't we?
If we're not careful. But the thing about it is, you're a boss. I'm the boss. Lisa's the boss of her. We wouldn't have to say we are all the boss of our own lives, but if I were a boss, I would fire me because number one, I don't take enough time to take care of myself because I'm the one that sets the hours. And I tend to, in my ADHD mode, shut down everything that's going on and just go, what are some quick simple ways that we can shift the boss mind of do to give a bit of a gifting to ourselves of health in the new year? What do you do?
Let's see. A couple things that I do is, first of all, because it isn't going to be sit and meditate. I am going to try to find someone, and I'm going to try to think, how can I give? Gratitude, I think, is my best defense. And I learned that from a great friend of mine, Joan Hartel. And she always taught, whenever I was having some of my toughest moments, she's, if you will be grateful and in that gratitude give, then in that moment, I can shift my mindset from being so overwhelmed, because the paradigm shift, when your perspective shifts in a moment from I'm overwhelmed, I have too much, I need to do all these things, I'm getting tired, I'm getting run down. If I can find someone else, maybe you do volunteer work, because again, I'm not going to sit around. Maybe you go buy something on a gift. When my kids got out of school, I went back and found the angel tree, and then I have 4 kids. So then I did 4 sponsors, I was already spending the money on the kids. So then you want to find some way. There's just something that God puts inside of us when we give of our time, give of our gifts. And maybe you're not more like Amber and I, maybe you can give by calling. My grandfather lived to be 100. He was in charge of the calling tree at their church. He called everybody on their birthday. And so every month they would give him the list, and he would call and be sure somebody at least got a phone call on their birthday. That cost nothing. But we do say, to have the gift of giving, you have to have the gift of earning. I always try to think about that. But to have the gift of time, you have to have time. And some of you watching have time. You can do a phone call. You can do a text message. You can do, I'm thinking about you. How are you doing? We started a prayer group from our consultants. You can start a prayer group on Facebook and manage that prayer group so people are on there, and you can spend time praying for those people. When I need time, we're past Thanksgiving, and it's just too bad. I don't know if that's the precursor to Christmas, but so whenever I've got all this going on, I just try to get out of my head, but I can't stop my pace. If that makes sense. So I don't try to stop my pace. I'm not really good at getting a massage for that long, but I want to shift gears into and out of myself into others. And I think that's where we've seen the example of Christ. We see the example of feeding the 5,000. We see the example of giving. We see the example of sharing our teaching. We see the example of you two. And this time you guys give not only to write the book, the chapters, to interview the people, to bring out these beautiful gifts, and then to give back on your Saturdays to the podcast. So bravo to both of you. So you have taken all of this wonderful skills and talents you have, and you've laser focused it back to give back. And that fills you up, but it's also such a great example. So awesome testament to both of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're blessed that we have women like you on board with this project, because while I may have a reach and Amber may have a reach, there are so many women involved in this project that can touch people we would never have the ability to impact. And your stories get to do that anew and afresh in the book. I want to make sure that everybody knows Nancy is our chapter 15.
Right in the middle.
Focus on the essentials. There she is in there. And we really love that. So just to recap, so everybody remembers, if you want to get in on this lovely gift that Nancy is providing for us today, all sorts of wonderful Jordan Essentials products, we need you to like our Facebook page here, that we do not my page, which is where the live comes from, but the Leading Ladies Life page on Facebook. We want you to make sure that you put a comment down here in the comment section. We don't care if you watch this on the replay or if you're watching it live. We like you to comment either way. If you comment, you're in. And also, if you have not already liked our leadingladies.life page, our website, go like that.
Yes.
And we will draw from everyone that qualifies on Monday and post a winner for you.
Yes. And I'm so excited too. We are going to be dropping this podcast episode on Christmas week, we are going to take a little bit of a gift to ourselves and take a vacation until New Year. So this is the last time you'll see us till January. Celebrate and look for our podcast. Please subscribe to our podcast. We have
subscribe.
This is our 18th episode of Coffee Chat with Amber and Lisa, and we have so many amazing women that we have featured here. Please subscribe, share, download. We are almost to 500 downloads. So I'm excited about that because I had no idea that we had that many fans.
Yeah, we didn't know. We're just doing the podcast. We're not really paying attention.
No, we're not paying attention. So I am so excited. And thank you. You guys have been a gift to us in this year. And we are just so thankful to be able to share these stories with you and share our triumphs, share our messes, because we know that God has something great for you. He has a gift under the tree for you, girls. And some of you guys just have to open it up. So I'm going to challenge you guys, whatever gift is under the tree, God is saying, open it up. And I pray that it is. And I know that it'll be a bigger than you can ask or imagine because he steps into this. Nancy, would you pray over our girls in this going into this holiday season, just for that fresh burst of energy and that heart to give?
Be happy to. Father God, thank you so much. You are the Father of all. In this season, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. You have given us so much. I pray that you will give us eyes to see those who need. I pray that you give us a joyful heart. I pray that you renew our spirits through this season. I pray that each person that we hold hands with around the dining room table, and for those that have gone on before us, that we continue to remember the really important reasons that we have to be together is to love with patience and kindness, that we will be the light, that those listening to this podcast right now, that if they're lonely or they're having a difficult time, they would just envelop them into your arms, and that you'll provide somebody who has the message of gift and gratitude around them today, and to know that they are loved beyond what they can even measure. Thank you so much for every leading lady that is out there today, to let her know that you have a purpose for her life, whatever that purpose is, great or small, that you have a plan for all of us. And we're so grateful. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Christmas, everyone. We pray you have a wonderful holiday season. Bye-bye.
2024. Take care.
In a world that often tries to confine and categorize, best-selling book Leading Ladies, Discover Your God-Grown Strategy for Success, celebrates the diverse tapestry of women just like you and their unique journeys of faith. Join Lisa and I as we partner with over 30 women from every hue, age, and walk of life, united by one mission: to let Christ shine through our gifts, wherever we are. Within the pages of Leading Ladies, you'll find a wealth of wisdom, inspiration, and practical guidance. These women share their personal stories, triumphs, failures, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Leading Ladies is more than just a book. It's a movement, a call to action for women of faith to rise up, support one another, and make a difference in the world. Together, let's celebrate the strength, resilience, and faith of leading ladies from every background and be inspired to let Christ shine through your gifts, wherever you may be. Leading Ladies, Discover Your God-Grown Strategy for Success. Available now wherever books are sold.